programming and computer related stuff. So I was inclined towards to that career more than the electrical and electronics. So when I luckily during the time I was graduating, that's when the IT market came back from a major recession. That was the 2003 recession. So when I joined college, the recession started, and uh, it was the recession was getting over, and most of the IT tech people were on the hiring mode. So I got into Cognizant. So when I asked the question earlier about, like, what you think as a uh, profession, IT profession, let me say my answer to it. So I always think, like, knowing C, C++, Java was made me a programmer, and I was into IT and computers. Like, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Like, writing in pages and pages of codes. That's what I thought. But let me tell you this: IT is not just coding. So when I say this, the reason I say this very early in the presentation is that, people, it's not a perception assumed by you or purposefully set by someone around you. That's all the information is available when you are at the stage of your like, education. Because what we learn as part of our as a curriculum teaches us how to code, but not what the code helps us to do. So when I say what it helps us to do, we have to take slices of parts of technology out of our life, day-to-day life, to understand what you're going to do in the future. Because 10-15 years back, I don't think the technology was what we imagined it would be right now. So we were amazed by computers. To own a computer in our house was a bigger achievement. Like, like, it made us feel like a scientist. Like, okay, I have a computer in our and playing a movie or a song or playing a game in the computer was made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something in the computer. Now the scenario has changed a lot, so much that, like, the whole technology aspect of it has come into our hand, where it's everything is accessible through mobile and anywhere and everywhere. So when I say this, anywhere and everywhere, we are into the generation where it is called, like, digital generation. And when I say digital generation, uh, we had to learn. When I say we, sorry guys, you guys are young folks. I'm the same. Like, when I say we, a part of our generation had to learn how to use a computer, how to use a phone, how to use a mobile phone, and we were quick to learn though. But still, the technology was not. We were not able to catch up to the technology that fast was the technology growing into the world. So if you take now, even a 3-year-old know how to operate a computer or a laptop, and they can be much faster than any adult. Like, they know how to do, like, they observe and learn. So that is how the digital technology has got into our lives. So when I am talking about IT, information technology, why am I talking about digital? So what is digital to you? Digital is something now, we have come across a period where mobile phones were invented to communicate to people over long distance and to keep in connected. Slowly it started undermining that basic requirement of communication. Now it has become our day-to-day, like, social life. Like, gone are the days where social life where the function where it was an event in of meeting people outside the house, like, gathering of people. Now it's a social, your social life is, like, in your hands, which means you can easily pick your social life like picking your mobile in your hand. So that is an impact of digital. So every aspect of your day-to-day life is slowly moving towards digital dependency. So what is dependency here? So let's take a small example of what are the things that you are uh, sorry, let me. Okay, I'm not sure who the person. I'm interested on programming section, sir. I'll just come to that. Let me come to that. So let's take before I go to that, like I like to get some answers on, like what part of your, what are the day, like name some technologies which you're relying on your day-to-day life, like any some simple examples, anyone? Like anything that's you say, like no, this is a technology I'm relying on very much and in our day-to-day life. Okay, I haven't got any response. Before I start, like I just would like to get one answer, like am I too fast in saying speaking, or do I need to slow down? Uh, Sorry, folks. Anyone could respond. Yes. If you could say your response. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One question is there. How do we develop our skills and abilities in information technology? One student is asking.
Okay.
How do we develop our skills and abilities in information technology? That means IT field.
Okay. Yeah. So to answer that question, that's why I wanted to understand your grasp of what is information technology that is in your current day-to-day life. It is not a, when back in days when we started like banking was banking was something we had to go to the bank. Now I think you guys use net banking and everything, so it's everything in your hand. So this information technology is got into your hand so much that it's part of your life, as I said earlier. Now to answer your question, what do you need to do to improve your knowledge in information technology to create a career out of it? You need to be, you need to know the current trends of IT, which when I say current trends, as I said earlier, your basic programming knowledge of writing a code in C, C++, Java, .NET, which you learn as part of your curriculum, is just alphabets of information technology, which means you are learning to walk right now. You are just learning to walk. Once you have learned to walk now, you have the freedom to dance. You have the freedom to run. So always look at IT as a mathematical formula. That is a good reference I could think of. When I say mathematical formula, you are the variable. So any given person here can have a different creativity. So to implement that creativity, each person can come to that point of final destination of what product you want to know, develop. Can be longer, shorter, fast, faster or efficient. So there are a lot of aspects to it. So the reason why I'm saying these aspects, information technology is not about coding only. Coding is just part of the development work. So to develop your skills, you need to understand the real world applications of your information technology in your so when I say real world application, there are a lot of examples you have come across. You're sorry, I got distracted. Another question. So coming to that same question, how to develop yourself first in IT. That's what I'm saying. So grasping the applications of your real life, IT applications in your real life, helps you understand the purpose of it. When I say purpose of it, let's not start with the technology in mind to work in IT. Is what I'm trying to say. So when your careers are going to be in different aspects. Like, once your information technology is not just coding. Okay, to answer your this to add more to it, right? Uh, I need to. So now that people are started to chatting, what do you think is the advanced technology you've come across and is a current trend in the current IT industry? Any technology that you think is a current trend in the IT industry? So I'm going to share a slide with you guys shortly, so that you have what are the things you're gonna look forward to in the current IT trend, and which you're going to be part of in the coming once you're out of college. Any technologies? Anyone? People? Perfect. Cloud computing. Great. Srijit. Thank you for that, Srijit. I have another answer. Blockchain, AI. Great, amazing, guys. You guys are very much on the like latest trend. So these three are some of the top current trends that are happening in India. You got it exactly. Now that we say cloud computing, let's great Sritin, IoT. That's a great answer. So anyone can anyone give a cloud computing example that's like, as you understand cloud computing, what is cloud computing and how it is there in your day-to-day life? Anyone? What is cloud? AWS. Perfect. Amazon Web Services. But brilliant answer. Netflix is all in AWS. Yes. Netflix. Starting with Netflix, I would even come down to the one level below. Your Gmail, your email account was the first basic cloud platform. When I say a cloud platform, you when you guys created your first email account, you created your first space in cloud, meaning you created a storage in the cloud for your dedicated like a dedicated space for your account. So whatever information you're sharing goes out of your email and comes back to your email, doesn't get stored in your computer. It gets stored in the cloud. So cloud is basically a computer at another place. That's the simplest version of it. So great answer, guys. Now that so there are a few questions like, what are the basic jobs for freshers in IT field? How to develop ourselves first in IT? One person answered that I'm interested in programming section more. So to answer all your questions in one simple like in one answer, one solid answer is right. So think of IT as a broader platform where uh, so to understand it correctly, right, to make a house, to build a house, right, what are the things you need? First thing is a plan. So the plan, and then the procurement, then you have the like, you need the, when I say procurement, that's the procurement of the land, materials, and all related things. Then you have the constructor who's going to construct the house, and the same constructor has a multiple sections of it, like, where erecting a house, painting, like electrical. There are different sections to building a house to get it to the place where it's livable, right? So this is a real-time example I'm trying to give. So when you talk about IT profession, career in jobs in IT, there are so many paths to enter into. So some of them are like, uh, everybody thinks development. So I need to learn coding. I need to develop codes. Yes, that's the major pillar of IT jobs. So the most of you gonna, when you're gonna get a job, you're gonna enter into that stream of work. So you're gonna be a developer. There is also another important stream, which is like, testing. Uh, there are a lot of other certifications for courses and other things for testing, which is testing is something which I can like, you can elaborate on it. Like, you don't need to be a coder for testing, but you need to understand it functionally. There is another part to it, like, functional business analyst. So every project or every application has two parts to it: technical, functional, and there is another. These technical and functional builds up the business. So when I say business, whose business here? Uh, an example of a business is, so I'll take the example of banking again. uh, your regular day-to-day banking in any of the, like, modern day banks, like, ICICI, HDFC, like, they hold, you are the customer to the banking. When you start working in IT companies, service providers or product companies, you're going to be supporting these business. So these basically the banking, whatever you as a customer are using the for features you are using as part of the banking, like, net banking, online statements, and all those, like, if like, the immediate balances, the way the ATM is connected to your net, like, earlier we used to take money from, so earlier we used to take money, and to for that to reflect in the account, it used to take a day or two for us. Maybe you have to wait for it to know, like, how much my balance is. But now it's like, instant, within seconds. How is that happening? It is called online transaction processing. So the moment you do an transaction any part of the world, that gets reflected in your account immediately, and you're able to view that in your mobile immediately or as a text message. How does it happen? Each feature, each functionality of this is developed by an developer, tested, and then it's functionally approved by a business. So inside IT, you have two options: functional analyst. The other one is going to be technology technical development. So what is technical development and what is functional development? Functionality is, let's say, I'll bring back again the example of building a house. Sorry about that. So when when let's say, let's put ourselves in the architect's shoes, and one of your one person is coming and asking you, I want to build a house. So he starts basically explaining you what and how the house should be and all those things. So this architect basically understands that and perceives the information from him, and he has to like, he has to give him a plan, saying that, okay, so this is how your house is going to be looking like, the entrance is going to be here, your room is going to be this big, and all those things. After this is done, this exact understanding of how the customer wants the house to be built has to be translated to the actual contractor, like, who is going to build the house, right? So he has to understand that. So saying that there is going to be a wall here, there is going to be the wall has to be this thick, and there has to be a window. So the communication between the functional person and the technical person basically is what the business will see as as a final product. So you can choose your track in this. So when I say functional, what is functional career path? Retail. So when I said banking as an example, when I said construction as an example, how does a supermarket work? A supermarket chain, like, take example, Big Bazaar, or even your Flipkart, for that matter, Flipkart, Amazon. These are all some of the retail giants, where they have a huge inventory, like, and they sell their products across the world. Across the world, when I say, they transport and everything. So we have the option of checking everything, like where exactly my product is, how much it is, and how much the rate comparison, price, all those things. So how this whole model works, like the retail model, like how the profit is calculated, how the loss is calculated, how the customer demand is calculated. These part of it doesn't need anything technical. There is no code to it. So like it's basically you need to understand how a banking sector works, like how a retail management company works, how a pharmaceutical company works on the product management. It doesn't have to be the product development. So a retail pharma company has a huge list of inventory, how a medicine is approved to the end customer, what are the approvals required. That is a separate section. So these part of it is functional analysis. So you call it the first entry into this, you call it as business analyst, because you basically analyze the business and then understand the business, and you help the business in developing a product by providing a design. So this is one part of the career. The second part of the career is the technology developer. So technology, now you have a business person, analyst person, who's telling you this is how the customer wants it. So you are the platform to develop it. So you basically develop it, whatever technology is applicable, and then you start writing the code and you deliver the end product. And the third part of it is the testers. So who's the tester? The tester doesn't know the business, what code it was written. Basically, he just only understands how the business works. So he will just input the information and runs the functionality and expects a expected outcome. So this is testing. So these three are the major pillars, I would say, like for a to start as a fresher for a fresher job. So you will enter in either of these three things. So after defining these three things start dwelling into a lot of other technology aspects. Like, there are other industries and industries as well, which I'll cover in this slide. So hope I have answered that question. I got one more question. For another bank ATM transaction is supposed to why it takes. Okay. For an other bank ATM transactions, if suppose failed, why it's taking some 7 days of time? Just want to know. Okay. Great question. So this is again another technical, not a technical aspect aspect of it, but a functional aspect of it. So to answer your question, simple. When I have the banks have a different networks, and those networks are covered with a lot of security features. So when a transaction happens, those has to be approved or denied by a person of that bank, the receiving bank or the sending bank, to both approve it. So it's basically a transactional approval from either of them. That could be the delay that would cause that could be the reason that causes the delay. Other than that, that doesn't have to do anything to do with the technology aspect of it. It's more of a functional aspect, like where I don't want to put it simply, right? I would have taken the money and I would have claimed that the transaction failed. How do you verify that? So both the banks has to balance the accounts and then confirm, yes, the transaction happened, it is not a failure, or if the transaction did not happen, so it's a failure. So you have to be done. So that's a simple answer to it. Okay. Any questions, guys? Like, before I go into the slide, right? Any questions? Any more questions you want to talk about? No? Okay. Let me share my screen to show one of this deck, and honest warning, like this presentation is not prepared by me. I was reading through some article in LinkedIn, and I came across this, and this seemed like an apt presentation for you guys to know what is currently trending in information technology. So I'll walk you through the slides. So stop me anywhere in the middle to answer any of your questions, or to know more about any of the trends which I could answer. And the fair warning is that, guys, I'm into uh, I'm into business intelligence. In my career in IT is into business intelligence. I'll explain more on what is business intelligence. So I may not claim I'm an expert in that, but I can answer more questions on that related field, which I've worked on. But other areas like yeah, AI, IoT, or as new as to me it is for you, with little bit more exposure to real world application is what I would say. So I don't want you guys to mislead you guys saying that I'm an expert of all these topics before I present it. So just a fair warning on that. Uh, yeah, so hope you guys are seeing the screen. Let me know, someone, if you could give a confirmation that you're able to see the presentation. You guys are able, sorry. Kamal, the screen is visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a uh, this is a deck created by an organization called InfoPulse about the 2019 and beyond, which is basically not a very old, when I say if I say a deck, which is actually still very much relatable, like more relatable now, having we having seen over the years, when this slide was developed and what phase we are in, it is more relatable deck. So that's why I wanted to share this with you guys. Uh, so just a market overview. uh, Ignore this section. This section is what? So what are executives? Who are executives in this perspective? Is the business top business executives are expecting that digital will bring unique customer experience, actionable insights, innovations. Uh, what is actionable insights? Anyone? What do you understand from this three points? And anyone, if you could respond. I'll go to the chat. Okay, so let me these three. Remember these 3 points, like unique customer experience, actionable insights, and innovations. These three sections will make more sense when you look at the uh, current technology trends, and what is the purpose of those technology trends. Because a technology comes into a trending one and being used by most of the business in a current time period has a valid reason to it, right? So these 3 points are the reasons why a particular concept of a technology becomes more dependent and more trending and more what do you say, more looked upon to have more implementations and more developments in the future. So moving on to the next slide. This was, yeah, so industries influenced by technology. There was a period where, like I said in the earlier discussions, right? So the technology was only like communications, networking, basic networking, and retail was also not into that online marketing. So earlier the retail used to be technology used to help retail industry in inventory management, and in terms of travel industry, like even then, like the travel industry was like it was an offline database. So if I had to book a ticket like 10-15 years back, I go to the service center, I book a ticket. That ticket was entered in their database. So to access it, it was only offline information. So take an example of train ticket management. Like for example, like in 10 years, 15 years back, right? I used to, if I go to the counter and buy a ticket, and when the ticket is verified by the TTR in the train, right, he would have a printout of all the people who had reserved a ticket. So they used to verify that against that. So that was so technology was at that point, where it was still there, partially there. The footprint was partially there, but not to the extent of connecting everything. So that is where we are right now. So technology industries influenced by technologies, you can see real estate, all the how it helps, and now the people can look at properties. So again, when I say real estate, this is a wider spectrum of industry influenced by technology. But I'll give you a simple example, which is right now, what it is moving towards is you can view a property. For example, you want to buy an apartment, you have the option of looking at the apartment virtually, with an AR, artificial augmented reality goggles, right? You basically can walk into the house and look at every corner of the house without even being there in the house. So that is one simple example I could give, where technology has played a huge influence, and it is moving towards that angle where the people. I'm just saying this is one part of the what do you say technology aspect of to it. Consumer business, and consumer business, it's take you guys are way very much using it, Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra, all this consumer business where it is a huge competition between these giants, where they are competing on a day-to-day basis, to make you buy product from their own retail chain. How does that help? They have got into the mode of to rather than marketing the product to you, they try to understand what you need. How that is done based on your product searches. You just Google randomly Google for looking at a new model of a mobile. The next day, Amazon and Flipkart starts recommending you a new mobile. So this is one part of it. Again, whatever example I'm giving is just one part of it. That is not the final application of technology in those industries. Automotives. So one of the far more advanced influence of technology in automotives is that it started very slowly into whatever was mechanical is slowly moving towards technology. When you guys would have heard about self-driving cars, right? Tesla, where they are moving towards a driverless cars for the future, and they have already implemented those cars in some parts of the cities, and where they are still in the testing mode, and it's still not fully approved, but that's where so I'll give you one example. I don't remember the exact company, but it I think it was Tesla. Tesla only. Uh, there was a product defect identified in one of their batches of cars, like which was manufactured during a particular period of the year. And when they came to know of it, saying that this was a fault, basically the car has a defective part in the defective functionality in the car. They fixed it all the cars over uh, over internet. When I say internet, they basically they just had to plug the car into a to a service center, and the fix was applied for all the cars. This is one of the, it happened like few years back, like I think 4 5 years back. So that was one example I'm saying. So how technology is induced into the automotive and where it is moving forward. And the next thing is energy industry is power consumption and other things. So being from electrical and electronics, I can say you this. So this what I learned was an ancient whatever 4 years of engineering I studied was ancient, is what I'm saying, like compared to what we have in current real life development, with the influence of the technology, with the distribution and happen, and a lot of factors, how it is being calculated, how it is predicted, how the network switch over with zero loss energy, and a lot of things are there in the energy industries. Financial, you don't even have to give an example. That's basically your banking, everything comes under that. So that's the technology plays a major part in the financial industry. Manufacturing, again, this is more related to the uh, robotics part of it, where gone are the days where 10 10 15 people had to work on a job. Those things are being getting customized to be done by automatic machines. I wouldn't say it's a favorable thing for a lot of people, as we basically lose our jobs to that, but still that part of development is what the technology is going around. So robotics is one part of it. So healthcare, again, whatever healthcare options were available is now connected through technology, where virtual consultation, and even there are parts of virtual operations where it's being done. This is brought in, whatever examples I'm saying is to relate to a day-to-day examples where it has helped us, made our life better in those aspects. Government, like most of the governments have started to rely on the upcoming technology. I'm not saying they are rely on technologies, but they are uh, adapting to the latest technology trends to bring into their management to in order to make this help the people more. So typical example I would say for this is some of the governments and have already started to rely on big data, on data analytics for some of the projections. They want to see what is the kind of outcomes they would get for any policy implementation. Also, there are a few examples for in major U.S. governments have also relied on this. Some of the decision making is being relied on this technologies for the governments. And education, again, online education, with the current COVID situation, I think it has come into the bigger forum, how the reliable it is to, it is how far it has made things to happen. Imagine a period where it could have been a no contact period, where if this technology has not influenced the education industry, where a teacher can still reach out to the pupils, sitting everywhere, and make it like efficient. So there used to be classes like the like 10 5 5 10 5 6 years the online technology network was not that straight. Now it is made more accessible to anyone and everyone and easily understandable. So there are a lot of advancements in that area. Telecom, again, you would have seen you guys are already part of it. Like you guys are 4G network guys, and you're going to be part of the 5G and more like upcoming telecom generation. So technology plays a huge factor into this telecom industry as well. And media, yes, you already know that what was perceived as a media is not the same now, because there is a thin line between social media and the media now. So you guys are all a part of the social media and as well as the media. So that the technology is making it more and more what do you say like accessible, that gone are the days like you have to watch a TV. We used to be amazed of people who are seen in the TV too. Like now, you guys can broadcast anything. Like you can broadcast. You can start your own channel. You can be an influencer. All those things like that. The technology aspects of it is just not the Facebook. I mean, Instagram or those are not the, like what is it, technical aspect of it. What runs behind those applications to make you use that, and how much of it you could have. There are a lot of other social medias which have been long forgotten, like for example, I'm not sure how many of you people remember Orkut was the first Facebook. Before Facebook was there, Orkut was the first technology, but it has been long forgotten. Why Facebook has survived now, and what has made it day-to-day part of your life. There is a lot of data analysis, data algorithms that happens in the background that makes you keep coming back to the apps. So that's where the technology has played a huge role in the media, social media applications. Any questions, guys? I'm sorry if I'm. Uh, I don't want to bore you with a lot of these are all more what do you say theoretical aspects of it, why the current technology is needed. So I'll just I'll also share you this deck with you guys, maybe I'll send it to Kamal and you can have a look at it. I'll go to the latest points. So as I said, digital trends. So being in IT, I think to most of your earlier questions, right? Uh, the current IT industry is taking up a prospect of something called digital transformation. So every service provider, when I say service provider, uh, your banking clients, banking industry, retail industry, financial institutions, all those industries that we saw, or the business. These business are hugely relying on the information technology, which was built over the years for the past 10, 15 years, or even before that, 20, 25 years now. But uh, the industry is moving towards digital transformation. That's what everybody calls. What is a digital transformation? Is that moving away from their legacy technologies and catching up to the latest IT trends, which you're going to see after this slide. So when I say moving to this latest technology trends, it's not going to be easy, because it is a basically your old system has to be transformed to feed into the new technology, which is going to be demand more time, more efficiency, more data quality, and all those things. So that's where the current industry transformation is towards. I know it's a huge, looking at it from your place where you're currently in your like in a college. It looks like a huge aspect, like which is something not understandable for you. But I would say these digital technologies are already part of your life. You are already a consumer of these technologies. So look at it in that aspect. So then you'll be able to relate all this digital trends in your current life, and that's where you're going to make a career out of. So as you guys ping me, right, like some of the upcoming technologies and things, like you guys were right on the top, like artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, security, big data, mobile apps development, augmented reality or virtual reality, process automation, blockchain, automotive, business intelligence, cloud computing, and service desk. So I'm gonna move forward with it'll give it just a brief description of each of the technology aspects. So stop me anywhere if you guys any questions. So yeah, just raise your hands or send me a question whenever if you have need any more information on this. Okay. How is the work-life balance in IT industry in abroad countries and in India? Uh, Great question, Sujit. I'll come to that in the end. I'll definitely explain that, which is also needed. I'll definitely explain that. Okay. So what is artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence, when the moment we say the easiest thing that we can relate to, so the easiest thing you can relate to your artificial intelligence is your Google. So I think when I say artificial intelligence is why Google. Uh, Google has come a long way across, where it was just a search window, like you search any word, it brings you information, just whatever the keyword was. Now it can predict your question. When you start typing how or who, it starts asking questions like how do I, like it starts to understand your interest, like because based on the browsing history, what are the things you have been searching, what are the things you have been looking at, what are the things you have been reading at. This interest of you is being processed by the application, and then it starts to predict information for you and then start to give it to you. So this is smallest part of artificial intelligence I'm talking about. So there are, if you go into most of the banking sites, there are customer support. The customer support is being moved towards AI bots. So most of the time, some of the basic questions like how do I look at my balance, how do I access my account, how do I cancel my card, where the answer is straightforward, right? Those informations are automated, and sometimes you will not even know that whether you're talking to a real person or artificial intelligence bots. That's what we call bots. So that's the artificial intelligence and how it is making a difference in the current industry technology. So next, Internet of Things. Uh, I'm not sure how many of you guys know more about Internet of Things. Like so I'll just give you my example of things. I'll again come to a real life example of it. So what is Internet of Things? To connect to an internet and to make processing, right, you need a computer where you get the information, process it, you work on it, and then send an output, all those things. So that's where a computer is needed to access a internet, is what the understanding is. But gone are the days where there needs to be a person sitting in a computer to use an internet. uh, there are devices which could connect to the internet and share information about whatever it is being used for. For example, let's take the best example I could give you is, I'm not sure how many of you used it in track my train in IRTC, or like when you want to see know where the train is, right? That's the first start of the Internet of Things. I understand where there are sensors placed in each of the locations where it is transmitting the when the train crosses over the place, it consumes it as the particular train information. It reads the train information and it has processed. So that information is being shared to another server where we are able to view saying that okay, my particular vehicle is this. The same thing applies with red bus. Where is my bus? So I'm just giving you a little example. So these things, there is no person sitting behind a computer and entering the information saying that okay, the bus is reached here. It is being done by sensors which are connected to the internet. Its basic purpose is to transmit, like once it reaches that the particular, it tracks a vehicle. Once the vehicle is reached, it it reads the vehicle information. It updates the system saying that the vehicle is here. Once it passes, it says the vehicle is passed. So this is a simple example of Internet of Things. So this Internet of Things is are part of all the technologies whatever we are talking about right now. Cyber security. So let me tell you my perspective. So cloud computing, artificial intelligence, or was is not something that came up very recently. So this has been in development or prospect for the last 10-15 years or even beyond with that. The reason it was not taken up in the past was one of the major concern was the security, because most of the confidential information stored in those cloud computing or artificial intelligence being able to hack, right? So those technologies were not relied upon. Now that the focus is more on the cyber security, all these technologies are coming back because of this particular thing. So the cyber security is a separate stream of work where like the major focus is to enable secured information. So starting with your mobile, right, you have a huge amount of personal data in your mobile. There is a lot of cyber security measures taken in your from the mobile manufacturer side, your Android OS or iOS side, and also on the cloud where the information is being kept. On top of everything, there are still a constant security threat where there are constantly people who are trying to hack the information and get the information. So this is something of an industry which is like keep on working to keep offending. There is a separate there are this is a separate job options where like you guys can like let me tell this example. Facebook conducted a hackathon. They call it as a hackathon. So they used to, how initially when Facebook was slowly growing up, right? They used to conduct a hacking tournament. So people who could they would open the Facebook and they start hacking the Facebook system from outside outside of Facebook network. Once they could break it, those people were hired. The reason was those were the threats that were the person who knows how to open it can close it. That's how this is one example I'm saying. So cyber security is being taken very seriously in the current technology trend, technology industry. And big data and data science is a big again major vast subject of it, that there are separate courses, college courses for it. To give you a high level understanding of what is big data and data science, let me tell you this. So when I bought my computer, 40 GB hard disk was a bigger achievement. So 40 GB, I trust me when I say I I have seen floppy disks. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of floppy disk. So the maximum storage capacity of floppy disk was 1.4 MB, and slowly we started getting CDs and DVDs, which were like 500 MBs and then GBs. Then hard disk was a 40 GB hard disk, and then we started having pen drives of 2 GB. Now then it came to 32 GB. now it's TBs. Whatever we are talking about, our phones are in TB terabytes, our computers or laptops are in terabytes. So the storage where it comes into picture is we never had enough space for data. Now when I say enough data, the data volume was like, in TBs and MBs. So the maximum we look at is TBs, right? 1 TB of data, 2 TB of data is what we look at. But over the years, there are all the businesses have an information which have been stored for them. Like, for example, the transaction done by a person in 1990s, if they had a database, those transactions are also there in the system. So that is huge amount of data. So when they had this huge amount of data, they thought of something like what could be done. Now, basically, they wanted a algorithm to go through all the data and make some analysis points. Okay, what kind of products I can sell, what kind of products, when I can sell it, how I can sell it, which place I can sell it. So there are a lot of questions. So data science is basically that. Basically, right, it processes huge quantity of data and make a decision out of it. So now that it is said, right, how does I can't have a person sitting in a computer and reading record by record, like, what it was done, how it was done. So I need a logic, right? So, and this has to be done on every, like, every aspect of it. Like, it should be keep on doing it, like, so I can't have a talk to a person and say, okay, do this, do that, right? So that's where the machine learning comes into. So the machine, we are enabling the machine to learn on its own self, say how to read the data, what kind of data is coming and how to process the data, what kind of algorithm. So we basically build a algorithm into it. So how does this work seamlessly? Artificial intelligence and the machine learning work together, you have data science. This is just I'm just touching the surface of it. That is a long topic and which needs more information on it. I think you guys should be already on top of it. Like, if you go to the internet, has a lot of other courses for this. So I encourage you guys to at least complete some basic certifications or anything, whichever is available to you in this stream, because this is going to become your basics for your upcoming technology developments. Mobile app developments, again, uh, right, slowly the desktop computers and laptops are gone. Like, I don't use my laptop other than my for my work. So most of my activities, like, anything online banking, starting from like, purchases, bill payments, everything, I am relying on my mobile, which means there is a huge prospects of all the applications to be on the mobile. So that's where the industry is moving towards as well. So no more the codes are not written for anymore for the end user perspective who has to sit on a computer. It's going to be all the mobile apps. So that's where this is a separate field, career track you can choose where you if you're good in mobile application development. Okay. 1 minute. You can take it. So what are the ideas in doing it? We have to focus on how to develop what okay. Two beautiful questions. I'll just come back to that. I'll quickly walk over some of the slides. Like, augmented reality. I've already explained to you, like, told you about this, and, like, this was something. Uh, these technologies are very costly to even for a developer to get hands on and to see how the code he has developed. But I think over the period, things have been made more accessible. Like, I think you guys would have already seen the AR goggles for the mobile coming up to the mobile, and the same thing, like, you would have seen there are a lot of gaming industries more into this augmented reality, and there is a lot of focus on this augmented reality being implemented on like, medical field, where the doctor or or like to understand how the real-time scenarios works, like rather than traveling to this on-site. This is being into that mode of development in the recent past. And I also explained how the robot process automation works. Uh, this uh, this is like this is not something that is new. That's what I would say. The robot processing automation is something like to even relate to you, like I'm not sure how many of you are know what is a CNC machine. So long 10-15 years back, CNC machine was a huge machine where if it is programmed, the huge mechanical process was automated. The machine would do 10 to 15 people's work automatically. So no, there doesn't need to be a manual. So that's just the start of it. Like now it has gone to the mode where even there are I forgot about the brand of the car, but I think if I'm right, it's uh, BMW. BMW cars are there are cars which are made without zero manual workers, meaning all the spare parts are cut, like all the processing and everything is fit by robotics from starting the chassis to the full completion of the car. So there are a lot of industries have taken up this as part of the industrialization. They have taken up this RPA technology. Blockchain again, it's a very very new and not very accessible stream of technology, and something that is still not very much relied upon due to the security aspect of it. Basically, your cryptocurrency, like now, this to give a layman's explanation of what is blockchain, right? Is like is your blockchain is moving, which is something trying to move you towards digital money. And that when I say digital money, it doesn't have to be rupees, it doesn't have to be dollars. So I say cryptocurrency. Each of the companies have started their own currencies like as a digital currency. So I go to a company A, they have a currency for them. I say I buy that 100 currencies of them. That can be used anywhere, and that is also the currency value increase. This works very much similar to the regular currencies in the world, but it has a lot of digital aspects to it, which is still not very reliable because of the security aspect of it. This being completely online, and a lot of governments are against it, and they are trying to regulate the cryptocurrency process and everything. So, but that's something that you guys have to look upon, like which is starting slow. Suddenly, this would be your next gen online transaction medium. Autonomous driving, as I explained, right? Like Tesla is a good example of it, and Uber in other, like in Europe and American countries have already started testing that driverless Uber cars. Most of it was successful. But there were still this technology not being over the only reason it is not overcoming the barrier is that because of the people's scare factor. Like I don't think I would still trust a driverless car for any reason on a long-term basis. So I still feel like I need to be in control. But again, this is going to be something that's going to be looked upon in the future more and more prominently. Yeah, so business intelligence is something like which is where I work basically. So what is business intelligence is that basically the business has a lot of information they come out of it. When I say the business side of it, like uh, I have a complete year's sales data. For example, I have 100 products. I have sold it in 100 different countries, and for the 1 year, right? So using that information, what can I understand? So every company needs to understand what based on their history, right? So there are some products that sell on seasonally, like for example, in some countries, we Indians purchase a lot of dress during festival season, like Ramzan, Diwali and Christmas. But those are the months that I should be planning my particular products in that area. If I take the abroad countries, it's mostly Christmas and other Thanksgiving. There are a lot of other festivals. So this, how does this planning happen? To understand this behavior, I'm relying on the information, and I have to build a system, build a reports, dashboards, which helps the key business people to make a decision, saying that okay, how much was my sales? What if I do this? What will be my outcome? So that is where the business intelligence comes in. So this is like again a very vast area where there are a number of like product particular applications that are working on it, and technologies to learn about. You have a very good scope in this. This will be one of the technology trend which will not go down at all. That's what I can strongly say, because being in that. So every business needs this aspect of it to work on their future, to put it simply. Again, cloud computing, you guys are already aware of it. So this is something that, rather than storing in your machine, it's being maintained in a different server location, and it's made more accessible. Like, you can access your information from anywhere and everywhere, like not anytime you want it. So that's basically the extended of it. And and cloud computing, which is not something that's like, bigger. When you think of it, it's a bigger, not a bigger applications in your real-time life. It's actually your Google Photos. Google Photos is actually a cloud. Apple Photos are also in the cloud. So the cloud computing is getting to that more and more end user friendly applications. Service desk. This again is what we already put it, so this is like people supporting the end product. So this is the same thing. GPUs, things what they do actually. Yeah, I'll stop here. So the rest are pretty much more information about it. So I'll quickly complete on one stronger note. So whatever technologies you just see it, right, sorry, is all interrelated, and there are so these things are not one programming language dependent. So that's the only thing I would like to pass on to you guys. So don't think of it like, when I the question I had here is like, what is in demand? What should I learn to get a job in IT? To get into an IT, basically try to understand whatever I said in the past, like, try to understand the technology applications in your day-to-day life, and pick a particular technology trend you want to look upon, learn more into it, try to understand functionally and technically, prepare yourself on all aspects of it. Don't target only like, I want to be a coder. You could be on a business side, you could be on the functional side, you could be on that as a tester. So you need to have a targeted approach towards your job search. When I say targeted approach, you need to you're at the point where you can spend your time on a particularly targeted technology, and understand it and work on it, and then move forward to it. The reason I say this, what some of the technologies which I have shared with you, let's assume like you guys are going to come and join me in my in my organization. I am as good as you people, because whatever I know is what you are going to know after 3 months of training. So this is a technology where a lot of people have not worked on. So you guys are like, going to be the future of it. So try to understand that. So I'll try to answer some of the questions. Work-life balance. Very controversial question, Srijit. Work-life balance is something depends on how you define your work. And the other fact to it, like, see, there are things like you prefer to work for a set hours, and you being made to work on a set hours. So that all depends on the kind of work you are in. For example, I'm on a support project, and which demand basically the contract is to work 24/7 support. So I have a team in India who take over the work, and when they are off to sleep, I have to take over if there is any incident, and if there is an incident, they call me. I log into the work. So this is a project by choice. There are other projects. So as I said, it all depends on the kind of work you are, or how you define your work style. So if you are someone who wants to work late, and you set that as an expectation to your subordinates or your managers, like they after some time they expect you to work late. So because they when questioned, they will say you are used to it, right? So that's what they would be. So it all depends on your approach towards the work. Any other question, guys? Sorry if I took long, and I think I did took take long. Any questions, guys? I'm not. Next time, I think I would really like to have a interactive session if that's something like could possibly happen, because I would like to answer more questions, more to the direct questions from the people. So any questions which you guys need to name it answer?
Students, do you have any queries?